All right, guys, welcome back to the Stephen Jeung Show, the podcast. My partner, Mark Banks, again. Thank you for joining us again, as always, Mark.
Thank you,
Today,
Stephen.
we're going to talk about mindset. 4 tips to improve your mindset. I think mindset is something that differentiates the great basketball players, the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants, the Stephon Currys, and opposed to some other players that have not been in the league that long and who kind of choked during the playoffs, which we've been seeing here recently, watching the NBA playoffs. So, mindset. When you think about mindset, Mark, what do you think? What does that mean to you? What resonates when you think about mindset?
When I think about mindset, I think about will. Your will to do something separates you because, a lot of people are talented. There's a lot of smart people out there. Like right now, I'm working on a project and, I've got so many people who are like, I'm interested. I want to do this project with you. And I'm like, great, this is a great opportunity. I'm always thinking like, this person, they've this great talent. Why haven't they gone further already? But it really just comes down to will. A lot of times they just fold under pressure, or they just, they have a bad mindset. They have negative self-talk, and all these things deter them from, reaching the finish line. And I don't know, maybe if they don't think they're worthy or whatever the case may be. I mean, we'll talk about it, but yeah, I think about will to get it done. I mean, that's basically what it is.
Yeah, I think so. I think mindset starts with thoughts. Mark, do you know how many thoughts that we think on a daily basis?
Too many.
70,000. I just Googled this. 70,000 thoughts a day.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy. So if you're having 70,000 negative thoughts of I'm not enough, I can't do this, imposter syndrome, that's definitely going to affect your performance being as a father, in the workplace, as a leader of an organization. So yeah, that self-talk is huge. If you're gonna play something for yourself, like a radio, something like a record, let it be affirmation, positive words that are gonna bring you some type of productivity and success. Isn't that crazy though? 70,000 different thoughts a day.
That's amazing. I mean, to think about that, like just the timing on that, 70,000, I mean, how many seconds are in a day? I mean, that that means you're having multiple thoughts at one time. But that's, I mean, I believe that. I definitely believe that. There's a lot of stuff racing through my mind sometimes, but yeah, I mean, it all comes down to, how you deal with those thoughts. Um, I always say this, you got to watch how you talk to yourself, because it really does matter how you speak to yourself. If you're constantly saying, "Oh, I'm always doing this," or I'm always messing this up. I have a friend. The other day I was having a conversation, and they were like, "Man, I'm always ruin my relationships. Every time I find someone I think I like, I just ruin it." And I'm just like, "Well, of course, because your mindset going in is that you do that, and of course it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. You've already written the story before it even began. So I mean, it really does affect you. I mean, I think about myself even, and I've had to work on this a lot in my life. Especially when I was younger, I was always like talking myself out of things, talking myself out of jumping off the high diving board, talking myself out of things that are fun and enjoyable that I just for whatever reason just didn't believe it was the right time or I was the right person for it. But as soon as I started believing in myself, then I found that life became easier. I mean, you've been in the business for a while. You've seen a lot of people in the insurance industry, which is a tough
It's
place
crazy.
to a tough place to have a strong mindset. I mean, all the rejection you have to deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah, my
Um,
pastor said to me, he said, "You are the most optimistic person in the world if you're an insurance agent with the rejection level that you deal with. The fact that you're in the business for this long
yeah,
is amazing and a testament. Rankin, love him, great pastor, got me married, but yeah, he definitely complimented me in front of my wife, and Yeah, it is tough. A lot of rejection, not appreciated, not seeing value in something that you know that there is value. You're just hoping eventually that they'll come around to see value. I hate to say it. In our business, bad things have to happen. They have to lose money in their retirement account or brokerage account for them to kind of say, hey, yeah, I want to work with you and I want to protect my principal. Or I need life insurance because I lost my friend and he was really young and he wasn't prepared, so I want to do something. I don't want to do a GoFundMe and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, mindset. That's what I always said. Like me growing up, my dad always taught me like you have to have you have to have a strong will. You're a minority, you're Korean, and kind of immigrant mentality. I would say like if you have to be above and beyond, the people that you're competing against because you're a minority. That's kind of how it's ingrained in me as a minority. If it's a tie, you're not going to get the promotion or get the opportunity. So you have to really shine and do well, and life is not going to be easy. I was taught that at a very young age, and I appreciate my dad instilling that in me and all my brothers and sisters. And that's what we do all that tough mindset, and because as a result of that, we've been very, very successful in our professions because of that. But yeah, the power of words. I mean, it's hard though. I can understand that if you had a adverse situation, you're living in a bad neighborhood, you don't have a father or mother, or you have food insecurity. How can I have power of? How can I have affirmations that are positive if I have just negative experiences in my surroundings? So I totally have empathy. But that being said, if you just turn I would say the narrative that you are enough and that you are worth it and that you can achieve anything, and that God or superpowers, whatever they be, are going to put people in your life to change your life. And I'm a firm believer in that. Whatever you believe in, I'm a Christian, wherever you believe in. But I do believe that there's a power out there that brings people together, and for not by chance, I think, because there's a reason behind that. So every relationship that I had, positive or negative, I feel like I've learned from that to get me to this point. And that's how you get wise. I mean, you have to have L's in order to be a champion. You have to experience loss and pain, and that's the best way to learn. When you're gambling and stuff like that, oh, you want to learn? I want to learn how to play poker. Okay, you got to play and lose some money, and you feel it, and then you'll get better right away. Hopefully you're not betting crazy stakes, but small stakes just to learn. Lost a few bucks, $10 or whatever, but then you can learn from those mistakes. So, Mark, I would say to you. We've known each other for I think 4 years now. Is it three or 4 years? It's been like 40 years. I feel like I've known you for such a long time.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I would say I know you got into situations where you're kind of like I'm pushing you. You can do more. You can do more. And sometimes you're like, can I? And then you did. And then I would throw another challenge, and you would accomplish that, and accomplish that. And sometimes you look back, you go, "Holy crap! I've come a long way." And you get upset, and sometimes I have to remind you, go, "Look what we have accomplished." And then you're like, "Oh man," because you're always thinking about the next hurdle, the next benchmark. Opposed to sometimes people don't look back and go, "You come a long way, man. Don't beat yourself up. You come a long way." I mean,
Yeah. I think that's the tough part. I mean, when you're kind of in the moment, it's very easy to get discouraged because you're like, man, like this bad thing happened. Like, then it seems like bad things always happen, but the reality is that that's not the case. There are a few bad moments, but life is good. There's so many things to be thankful for. There's so many things to focus on that are positive, that are going on. That honestly, the bad parts, they are what they are. They shape you. They challenge you. Like you said, I mean, there was times where I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna be able to do this." I mean, like that's crazy, dude. Like, there is no way. But then we found a way, and then I was like, you know what? Let me just refocus and change the way that I think. And I think that's where positive affirmations come into play. So, it used to be that I would say things to myself like, man, I'm a dork, man, I'm a nerd or whatever. But once I decided like, no, that is not the character that I want to build, and I put together like a collage of the images in the beingness that I wanted to be. And then I started, associating words with that character, smart, as opposed to nerdy. Just those little changes make all the difference in terms of your confidence. And when you're confident, then nothing can really bother you at all. It's like
Exactly, because you know yourself,
that
you know your
happened.
worth, you know your worth.
Yeah.
And people are gonna say, people are gonna talk, and there's gonna be haters. Obviously when you're doing well, and I've had a lot of haters. I'm like, I need to have haters. That means that you're doing something positive. People are envious. People are jealous. I'm not a person who's jealous or envious. I'm like, right on, that guy's killing it. He deserves everything. He's worked his butt off. That's kind of my philosophy, opposed to he got lucky or la la. People can always discredit someone's success. I'm not like that. I'm a person that credits people who've achieved, and they deserve it. We all along have gotten breaks in our life. No one has not got a break in our life. Maybe some more than
Yeah.
others, but at the end of the day, we've been helped. I would assume on our way to success. If you talk to any millionaire or billionaire, they've had a couple moments in their life where they gotten helped. Um, you know, and that's how I look at it. So yeah. So number one is talking to yourself. Don't talk like yourself to the. Don't sorry. Don't talk like that to yourself. That's number one, guys. The number one thing in mindsets to improve your mindset is don't talk to yourself like that. Okay? Don't beat yourself up. Number two, I think this is really important too, is think abundantly. Come from abundance instead of scarcity. And so, Mark, what is a scarcity mindset? We all can relate to that. What's a scarcity mindset look like?
I'm so glad you asked me this question. I don't know if you remember Lord of the Rings, but I'm a huge, huge fan of Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I
And
didn't know that. Wow.
Scarcity, one of my favorite movies. I'll watch the whole series beginning to end on a
Oh my
Saturday,
God.
and
My wife loves that too.
that's a great day for me. But there's a character in that series that embodies scarcity mindset. And when I say that, I'm sure that rings a lot of bells for a lot of people. But Schmeagol, right?
Like, my precious, right? That guy? Oh, yeah. Dude. Oh my God.
Okay, I'm done. But
Wow, you're good. Your voice, you should be
but
like a voiceover guy.
that's what they say. I used to do a lot of prank phone calls in high
Oh,
school, and
man.
that my friends were like, I met Elijah Wood at a party one time, and I posted on Facebook, and everyone was like, "I hope you did what we hoped that you would have done in that situation."
That's
I
funny.
totally did, yeah. But anyway, um, so yeah, Schmeagol. So Schmeagol is this character who falls in love with the ring, and the ring represents power, represents authority, all these abilities. And for him, he doesn't want to share that with anyone else. It's it's his, right? Because he feels like sharing that with anyone else, if anyone else got a hold of it, then, it's not going to be his anymore. There's only one ring, so there's not enough power to go around. So he has this very scarcity mindset. So he does all these things to kind of like coerce the hobbits into, falling into a trap, getting eaten by a spider, or he convinces Sam and Frodo to argue, blah blah blah. But basically, he does all these conniving things because he has this scarcity mindset that he has to hold on to this thing, right? Because there's not enough of them. But the reality is that that ring is just, a metaphor, really. It's just a metaphor, and it his character, is a part of all of us, really. That's why that character
Sure.
resonates with so many people, because it's a part of all of us. All of us, when we get in power or in a position like that, um, we feel like, well, someone might take this from me.
Hmm.
Someone might, come in and take my resources, or someone might do better than me, and that's gonna somehow make me less. Um, but that's not the reality. But that's how we think. So that's scarcity. That we think, there's not enough water in the world, but the earth is what, like 80% water. You know, it's like there's an abundance of this. We think, oh, we lost that one girl that we really liked.
In
Well,
high
there's,
school.
three in high school. There's like 4 billion, women out there. There's 3 billion men out there.
That's
So it's
true.
like,
It's like when your buddy's like, "Oh my God, my life is over." I'm like, no, there's like millions of women around in Los Angeles, so you'll be fine, bro. Like, just stay positive, have a positive mindset, and there's possibilities. I think that's the biggest thing, is knowing that there's possibilities for you, opposed to scarcity. I think it's hard for people to transition from scarcity to abundance, and they have to be kind of in an environment where people are empowering them and lifting them up instead of dragging them down. Because every relationship that you have, nothing is like neutral. Either they're empowering you or they're bringing you down. And sometimes the families are the ones that are bringing you down. They do love you, but they're just scared that if you get too high, you're gonna fall, and it's gonna be really really hard. So that's why I understand how parents are like, keep be humble, type of thing, and not maybe give you too many attaboys or pat on the back, because they don't want you to get too high. It's kind of like Asian culture. I'm Korean. Like my dad, like
that's that's
like
Shakespearean,
for
dude.
me, like being Korean, like he'll never told me that like he's proud of me or whatnot. When I was younger, I would just do my thing, but I would find out later that he's like he's proud of me to his friends and stuff like that, but never to me, because he wanted to keep me humble, I guess. I understand. It's kind of the mentality, and being an immigrant from Korea. But I don't know if you experienced that or not. I don't know if you were patted on the back every single day for doing stuff or not, but I don't know what your experience is. What was your experience like, Mark, growing up?
Well, my parents, I grew up, my parents were separated and they both had different mentalities. So it's like I got two extremes. Like my dad was very kind of like your dad, didn't really want to pat you on the back. My dad was a Marine. He had to work really hard to get where he was at, and he always had kind of like a chip on his shoulder. And for him, it wasn't about pats on the back. It was, this is what you're supposed to do. Like, good job. I mean, this is what you're supposed to do. And the bar was kind of very high with him. Whereas my mom was like, she celebrated every victory. She celebrated the small stuff. Oh, you made honor roll. Oh, you did this. Congratulations. And let's go get some chicken nuggets or your special meal, whatever it is that you like. My dad was kind of the opposite. He's like, he only celebrated the larger victories, which, it's good to have kind of both. I don't think there's a problem with either. Some people respond in one way, some people respond the other. I kind of found myself in the middle. Sometimes I was like, kind of like, I found myself like as a disciplinarian like my dad sometimes, but sometimes like I had that more loving part of myself like my mom. And I think learning from both and going through experiences myself, I found that you just got to be somewhere in the middle, honestly.
Yeah, my mom was like so loving. My mom's like she's like an angel. My mom's like an angel. She's so loving and so proud of me, and like your mom. And my dad was a little more cautious, I think, a little more scared. He don't want me to fall too much. But I love my dad. I'm so close to my father. I think the best father ever. I can't ask for a better father there. But yeah, okay. So abundantly is important. I guess that's the experience that you had through your parents. But if you had could you imagine if you had two negative? I mean, not negative, but two people who were on the extreme of not giving you any type of affirmation in your life? It would be tough, right? Like, just it would be really difficult. And I think a lot of people grow up that way. If you grow up like maybe in socioeconomic situations where both people are not doing so well, it's hard. Like. To be such a positive and joyful person. Like, I mean, they've gone through a lot in their life. It's like, hey, man.
If you've never seen abundance, it can be very difficult to open your mind to something like that. Because if all you know is scarcity, I mean, it is challenging, and it's easy for certain people to say, oh, all you got to do is pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But for a lot of people, that I mean,
No, dude, yeah, that's BS.
it's a challenge.
It's a challenge, dude.
It's a challenge. Yeah.
That's people who are like who've had life pretty easy or they've had a lot of support where they can say that. But some people have no support at all, financially, emotionally, no family. I mean, there's people on the street right now. We're in Los Angeles, so many homeless, but like a lot of these homeless people, they just don't have support. They don't have family, and they're by themselves. I mean, I have a lot of compassion for people who are homeless because I lose my job. I don't know if I can pay my mortgage, and I exhaust on my retirement. I think we're all like one incident from being homeless. Like one thing can make you homeless. So I think people have to
Yep.
be empathetic to that and be realistic. And when I was in college at Berkeley, there was like a professor that it was a mental health issue. He was a professor at Berkeley. He was like homeless, which was insane. It's like one of the brilliant minds, and just and mental illness too. Another thing,
Wow.
which is another thing. That's another topic we can go into. But let's talk about mindset. So some of these people have compassion for them, and you're right. Picking yourself up your bootstraps is not. Some people can do it. Some people can't. But I say just find better relationships. I think that's what I think. Think about it. Find people who come from abundance or feel like they think that way, even though they don't have abundance around them. They think that way, and then that's the uniform. They're going to change you and influence you. I think it's the people. It's cutting people relationships out of your life who think with a scarcity mindset will help you be even neutral and eventually, hopefully, come from abundance eventually. It's the relationships you have, the toxic relationships you have, because
100%.
you don't want to be alone. Misery loves company. Miserable people want to hang out. They want to make other people miserable because they don't want to be the only one. So I cut a lot of people out in life that are just completely negative. I just can't handle that no more in my life. Like I don't have time, or like I just really, really have no empathy for people who are super like just toxic and negative. I just can't have them in my life. It affects me. Eventually, it will affect you. Eventually, if you be around it constantly. And I had to make tough relationships. I had to cut friendships. Then I'm like, what are you bringing to this relationship? I mean, as you get older, time is a scarcity. When you're young, you have so much time to hang out with everybody. When you get older, you're like, I only have a couple, 1 or 2 days a week, and I'm very, very selective of who I hang out with. And when you only have 1 or 2 days a week, or maybe 1 day a week, you're going to be very selective of who you hang out with. And that's how you grow apart with some of these friends. It's like, you just don't see, I hate to say it someday, you don't see a value proposition there where it's like, I'm not saying you're going to help me grow my business. Maybe you will empower me with my faith, encourage me, or be someone to be there with me during a tough time, having a lot of compassion. But you have to have you have to be bringing something to the table in the relationship. If people are not hanging out with you today, there is a reason why. And I think I hate to say this, it's tough talk, but it's a value proposition. What are you bringing to the table? Because if you're bringing a lot of value to people in your life, they're going to be calling you, want to hang out with you, and grab dinner and grab a drink, and come by your house. They may drive half an hour to 45 minutes. If that person's not driving an hour away to see you, because you moved to a new neighborhood in the suburbs and you left LA, maybe you were there, you're convenient, you're close. Opposed to now, I got to drive an hour and deal with that. It's not really worth driving out to see you. And I hate to say that. It's tough to say that, but that's the truth, man. Because like in the Bay Area, everyone's like, 30 minutes is a long time. Like LA, not a big deal. 30 minutes, whatever. But like in the Bay Area, driving an hour to see someone is crazy. It's like hour 20. It's like, oh, that's far, dude. Like I'm not gonna drive to Sacramento from Fremont. Like unless you're my boy,
That's a whole other city here.
Unless it's like a birthday party, I have to go. I feel obligated to attend. But like just to hang out on a Friday or a Thursday, like no, I don't think that's gonna happen, unfortunately. So
No.
So number 2, think abundantly, cut bad relationships, and sometimes better to be alone than be around toxic people. Right? I've told you that before in the past, Mark. Sometimes you got to cut all your friends.
Yep.
It's brutal, man. It's like
Yep.
spring cleaning. Cut everyone. But then at some time you're at peace. You're like, I'm not worried about other people all the time. Because when you have drama in your life and you're used to drama, you seek drama. I have a friend that just loves drama. He seeks drama. He goes after girls who are dramatic because he loves that chaos because he grew up in that kind of environment. the instability, and people are gonna like go to things that are familiar, and you got to like kind of break that chain of like continuing on that chain. So yeah, like those dramatic relationships. I think drama is like I hate. I hate drama in my personal life, my business life. I never dealt
Same.
with it, and that's what kept my mindset
Same.
strong, I guess.
100%.
So number 3 would be attitude of gratitude. I think that's good. A lot of people say I follow like Ed Milet and Brandon Bouchard. Reading devotionals, doing Bible study, doing quiet time, and reading the Bible or whatever you read. It's hard when you're coming from gratitude. I think your day changes. I think it's really important you start your day with positive affirmations of gratitude and being grateful for the things that you do have, things that you do not have. We're constantly chasing things. Like, I want to keep up with the Kims, the Parks, or the Lees. That's like a Korean one. Keep up the Joneses. Remember, keep up the Joneses now. I'm moving Korean, so keeping up with the Kims and the Lees. Me being a junk. So it's like, you're always like, kind of envious. Some people are very envious, like, oh, this person has a nice car, or this person lives in a nice neighborhood, and this person has this and that, and they had a huge birthday party. It was like they spent $30,000, $40,000 on this 1-year-old birthday party. Some of these birthday parties are elaborate and crazy. I see,
Jeez.
especially in Orange County, they go
Wow.
over the top, like $30,000, $40,000 for a 1-year-old birthday party, which is insane.
Oh my God.
It's a flex, obviously. It's a flex. But yeah, I wouldn't spend that kind of money if I was in that situation. But
No.
yeah, I think it's sometimes I complain now. There's times like I want more, but I want a bigger agency. I want to help more people, help more household, more families. But sometimes I gotta look back and say, dude, you did pretty good. You and your agency and Mark and yeah, things that I'm grateful for. Like that's important. So what are some things that you're grateful for? What are some things that you do in terms of gratitude?
Well, I whenever I find myself like during the day, like getting upset or like just like stupid stuff, like I'm calling in one of the carriers and they're taking too long to process something, or someone's just not doing something that I want them to do, and I just kind of get frustrated or whatever, and that happens from time to time, but I kind of just sit back and I'm like, Mark, what are you grateful for? What are you grateful for, man? Like, just think for a second. What are you grateful for? It's like, yeah, this is going on, but you just, helped a lot of families recently. But you just, helped yourself make money. You just were able to take out your mom for dinner. You were able to do all these things that you weren't able to do for a long time, So it's like, it's very easy to kind of get caught up in during the day with these small things that when you look back, you're like, that is like why, like that doesn't even matter. It's like that's such a small thing. Like, why am I getting so frustrated about this? Like, who cares? Like, look at your life now. Look at where you're at. So I'm always constantly just like refocusing myself and just taking 30 seconds to a minute to just say, you know what, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I've got a great business partner. I'm grateful that I came from a good family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful that I've got God in my life. I'm grateful that I'm not addicted to drugs and alcohol or anything like that. There's so many worse scenarios that I could be in that I'm just grateful that I'm not in that situation. Could things be better? 100%. But I know that it's me, and there's things that I need to do personally to get to that level. But at the end of the day, I'm grateful for how far I've come and the opportunities I've had. I mean, as a kid, I got to go to Spain. I got to go to Australia. I got like in my neighborhood where I'm from, like not a lot of people get to do those types of things. Like I know
Even in my
I know
neighborhood, wow!
two other
Even in my
languages.
neighborhood, that's great, man. Australia, wow,
Yeah,
that's baller, man. That's
like I speak two other languages other than English. Like I learned Hebrew as a kid. I learned Spanish as well. Did language immersion programs. Like like there's so many things that I'm grateful for where I'm like, wow, dude, like, do you really have nothing to complain about?
Exactly.
Like, there are people that I help on a daily basis where I'm like, man, I feel bad for you because, like, they're older and, now they're just trying to get their life together and they're just trying to put things in order. And it's like, it's never too late, but, things, things could have been better planned, further out. And I feel for them, and I always try to do my best for them because, I'm grateful for where I'm at and the knowledge that I've been given. And, my way of saying thanks is, giving as much information as possible. And even if I'm not going to get a sale or whatever, it's not really about that. For me, it's like, hey, I'm bringing you value. I'm going to add value, teach you something that maybe you didn't know, because that's what I would want, and that's how I've gotten, where I've gotten in my life.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, it's my faith. It's God. It's Jesus. It's my family. It's my wife. I'm very lucky. Great parents, great brothers and sisters, a great wife. My faith. Just great business partner in you. I love mentoring you. I love the fact that you've grown so much, and that's kind of every day. It's like it's kind of a reminder. I don't have any kids, but it's kind of a reminder. It's like to see someone develop into a man and take responsibility and just change and transform. I think that's really important. That's why I do kind of what I do is I want to empower even younger or older. It doesn't matter how old you are, just to kind of give you a sense of pride and dignity. I think a lot of people get laid off or haven't had opportunity to work because maybe they're in a bad neighborhood, they were unable to go to college, and they didn't have the relationships and able to even get an interview. Because those great jobs, I was at Merrill Lynch and stuff like that. These great jobs, you have to have a great education. I went to Berkeley, so obviously, they're going to pick from the top schools and stuff like that if you want to work on Wall Street firms. So I think that I love the fact that I like to give people opportunity where you can make, potentially six-figure income and you not even have a college degree. Yes, not have a college degree and make six-figure income and be happy and have the life that you never thought you could have because your parents or your family or brothers and sisters told you that you're not worth it and you can't. That will never happen for you. But I love to prove the doubters wrong. I love that more than anything. When someone tells me I can't do something, I just, all right, game on now, let's go. And that's kind of the way to motivate me. You can't do this. And I've always been that way. But you're right. Like you said, like it's all about, if you're coming from gratitude, like you said, Mark, in our business at the Jeung Agency, our financial firm, helping, from life insurance people that they need help. They've been declined multiple places, and then you help them and you find the best carrier that will actually approve them, even though they have cancer or HIV or heart attack or whatnot. Or helping me, like me, I helped a family today that want to get out of the market, the variable accounts, the 401k is up and down to 15, 20% every single day, every year. It's just insane swings. And the fact I could put her in a product that guarantees her principal when she rolls that $200,000 over, she's going to get a bonus. On top of that, I told her your value will never go below whatever you roll over, and that gave her some peace of mind. She's like, "Oh my God, like, are you serious? Like, if the market takes a crap next year, you're going to be fine. You're going to be okay. Don't worry about it." And she was like, "Wow." And she's a person that had no knowledge of this, a teacher. So she's not well versed with Wall Street and different products and how they work. And me and you always do due diligence and looking through and it's kind of seeing the flaws of each product, the goods and the bads, and if it's at the end of the day, if it's worth it, passes our test, then we present it to our clients. But if not, so you're right. Relationships, sales, closing. And I'm sorry, I forgot to mention my friends that I have. I have the best friends, man. My friends have really. Like my wife said it best, and my sister said it best. Like they're your friend. Oh my God, they're like a saint because you're crazy, you're drama, you're crazy, Stephen. Your ideas and like you're so optimistic. You always want to do different things. You have ADHD sometimes. You want to do different things and different projects, and it's very supportive. And I'm really grateful for friends. I think you have to have good friends. You can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends.
See that optimism, that transfer of energy. That's what draws people to you. That's what draws, opportunity to you is optimism and being in good spirits. That energy that you represent when you're excited about something, people are just drawn to that because they want that. They want, like, what is that light? What is that, happiness that you have? What is bringing you joy? And it's like when we have something that we know can help people, it's like, man, this product that I just, I've been looking at, I've been researching, I found a great product, it's like, I want to share this with people. It's like, this product can help a lot of people. I know a lot of people in this situation that, maybe previously I couldn't help, or maybe only to a certain degree, and I find a great product that, outperforms other products that I knew about previously. It's like, I have to share this. And then when I talk to people about it, immediately, I'm getting positive results from that because my positivity about it, because I'm excited about it. It's interesting to me, and I know it's going to bring value to them. I know it's going to change their life, and I know it's going to help them. Not just them, but their kids and their kids' kids. I mean, we're not just dealing with, a one-time transaction.
Yeah, you're like me. Like, we're kind of funny. Like, when we learn something, oh my God, did you know? I call you. Like, did you know about this product? It does the 10% match, and then there's blah blah blah. Like, did you know that
Right.
it does this, like living benefits? And do you know that if you get like had critical illness, you get this, or if you get a critical injury, and then they're going to pay you 48 months of, almost 90% of the face amount, which is insane. But yeah, I get excited for our clients that what they can benefit from that they probably don't realize. But it's weird. Yeah, it's not like, I mean, obviously we have a very good, we get compensated pretty well for what we do, but it's not just about that. It's like this person's account went from 400,000 to 436 day one. He made $36,000, and saying, "Look, man, your account's at 436 now." Like, that made me feel really, really good. I'm like excited. And I want this to grow. Like, I really want it to grow, and the reason why we want it to grow is because I have a vested interest. Like, a lot of insurance agent or financial advisor or whatnot, like, they just do commission based, and they really don't care about. They'll sell your product. They'll get all their commission up front, and they don't do no trails, so they're not incentivized to service you as a client. And that's something I just don't do. I want to make sure I get on the back end because I want to make sure that I'm accountable, and that if I do well for my clients, that I'm compensated not by the client, by the insurance company for my performance. I want your account to go from 400,000 to like 3-4 million, because on the upside, I'm going to participate and get credit and make money from that. And I think that's a win-win situation, opposed to me taking all commissions and not worrying about you because I really don't care because I got paid all my commissions and I'm on to the next. And we're not transactional. I was telling you about that, Mark. You're like, oh, really? I'm like, no, I'll never take all commissions up front because that's not to the best interest of the client and myself as a business owner. I mean, I'm a CEO. I run the numbers, and you're going to make more money over time if you do a good job managing someone's account and letting it grow, and you getting excited about it going up 15-20% in a year because your compensation went up with that because you get paid based upon the portfolio value, paid by the insurance company, not by our clients. So, right? I explained that to you. That was a new concept with that for a lot of people that don't do that in our industry. That makes us a little different from everybody else. So if you haven't heard from your insurance agent, there's no reason why for them to reach out to you because they already got paid. If they're not doing a review with you, they don't care because they already got their commission on to the next. They're not going to make any money to do a review with you. And if they do a review with you, they're probably losing money in their mind. They're like, I could be prospecting and presenting and making another sale somewhere else. And that's, I would say, 95% of the insurance industry, or probably 99%, is just commission based and lump sum commission. And for our retirement planning, we're not doing that. So a little bit different with that strategy, and that means you're going to have a long-lasting relationship with the client because you and the client both want that account to grow. I think that's important, right? We're motivated by money. I hate to say it, it's true. I mean, we are motivated by money and time.
It is what it is. Yep.
Okay, so attitude of gratitude. I would say a couple tips. Be grateful in the morning, 3 things or 5 things every single morning. Keep on saying it, thinking about that. Start the day. Do it in the morning. Don't do it at night. Do it in the morning because you're going to have things come up at 9, 10 o'clock, 11, 12 o'clock. You already been coming from that gratitude mindset from the morning. So that's what you want to do in the morning. And then kind of like you said, remind yourself throughout the
Yep.
day, hey man, I'm grateful for my wife. I'm so lucky for my wife. Like best, smartest girl, MIT, and I can't believe she married a guy like me who went to Berkeley. So it's kind of things like that. I gotta be very, very grateful for, and the friends that I have to get me to where I am here, and my family. So boundaries. I think this is really important. Number 4 is boundaries.
Man,
So why are they important,
man.
Mark? Why are boundaries
Yes.
important? To help you improve your mindset.
Boundaries. Man, this is something that I learned um, when I was early in my career and I was having success um, for the first time. And I found myself working, I don't know, Steven, 80 hours, 90
Yeah,
hours a week sometimes.
I've been there when I started
It
my
was
career.
out of control. It was out of control. I set zero boundaries. I would be on a presentation sometimes until 10 or 11 o'clock at
Yeah,
night, you know, sometimes later. I would be waking up at 6 a.m. to practice presentations with people because they had this going on, that going on. Uh, you know, I, People would be on the phone with me for hours and hours and hours, distracting me from, what I was doing and, decreasing my productivity or taking away from other things in my life. And I didn't really have much of a personal life. You know, my family was neglected, God was neglected, you know, everything was neglected outside of my work. And I just really didn't have any boundaries. So I had to learn to set them, but only after, I felt like my health was getting worse. But it is important. It is vital to your success. I mean, you don't really experience it if you don't have a lot of success and whatever. Like it is what it is. You don't really know kind of like the dangers of that. But as you grow, and if you have aspirations to grow, it's important to set boundaries early, because as you grow, that only exacerbates the problem and exposes the issues that you haven't worked on when you were small. So that's for me. I mean, that's like day one. You gotta like, these are my work hours, these are my play hours, this is my time for family. You know, have a calendar, have a schedule. Do what you're doing while you're doing it. I'm relaxing right now. I'm not answering my phone. I'm gonna go to the pool. I'm gonna have a drink, and I'm gonna do something that I enjoy. My Fridays, I like to work on my creative stuff.
yeah,
So on Fridays, I'm doing my creative stuff. That's my time. Unless it's vital, I'm not gonna take other calls. This is my time for that. Um, but
yeah. I think it's important because
without that,
I think it's really important because me and you, we're doing multiple stuff. Obviously, I run the firm. I run Jeung Agency. You're helping me with that, and then you have your creative stuff that you're doing. Great job. I applaud you for doing that. I have my YouTube that I'm going hard at it. I want to influence, inspire
yeah,
people, and give them some value and knowledge about travel, food, finance, and yeah, guys, definitely subscribe to the channel, like this video, and but yeah, I think that's really important. I think that when you have so many things going on, like if you look at Elon Musk or Jack Dorsey from Twitter, I mean, how can you be a CEO of 2 companies at one time? That is like, you have to be really good with your time, and like how these guys like hack time, and you see people these days actually have 2 jobs now. That's like the new things, having full-time jobs at the same time when the other employer doesn't even know, because you're really good with managing your time. It's kind of crazy how you
yep,
can do that. These millennials, amazing what they're doing.
yeah,
I can,
it's
but yeah,
crazy.
but we're doing the same thing too. We're doing multiple things. We're running businesses, and so you have to kind of schedule that time. 'Cause if you don't schedule that time or protect that time gets, it's gonna, you're gonna lose that time to something else, and then you're gonna end up saying, and it's like little things compounding. It's like what's that book by Clear, Atomic Habits. Life is about habits.
Yes, yes, love that
About getting
book.
better every single day. That's one thing. One little tidbit I would say is about getting better every single day. Being a better YouTuber, being a better editor, being a better salesman, being more knowledgeable, being a better husband, knowing the Bible a little bit better, or whatever you wherever God, faith, whatever spirituality you worship, learning more, coming from gratitude. But I think it's habits are the things that really are the things that are going to be create actions, and habits for a long, long, long time is going to change your life and change your destiny. It's the habits, the things that you do on a daily basis that compound, that make significant impact to changing your life. It's not just doing something one time, one day. It's not like that. I had a lot of agents. Oh my God, I had a great day. I made $3,000, and then they think they could just do that, all the time, once a week for 4 times a month, and make $12,000. Doesn't work that way. You're gonna have those $3,000 days. You're gonna have those $0 days. You're gonna have a $1,500 day. You're gonna have a $16,000 day, which we had. But those days don't happen unless you are out there consistently working and getting yourself out there. I think that's really important.
Yeah, I mean, I've experienced the same thing. I mean, when I first started out, I mean, I had days where I was like, man, I just went out on a Saturday and I went out door knocking, and I made $2,000. Like, holy crap, it's like. But then I had days or days in a row where nothing really happened at all. But having a positive mindset, putting all those things in place, kept me in the zone. And then also I created those boundaries where I wasn't gonna, if my friend's like, oh, let's go out drinking after my field time, after my call time, that I was very disciplined in that, and that's what kept me, like when we did call rooms at your apartment,
Yeah.
Koreatown. I mean,
Yeah.
you were
all
like,
came over,
look,
you drove, everyone
come here.
drove an hour and a
Yeah.
half. The traffic, street parking in K-Town's a nightmare, as you know. It's not easy.
Yes.
Lived in car. But we called as a one unit, and we all believed in something. We held each other accountable. That's the thing about the entrepreneur, I think, is really, really difficult, is that, like, when you own your own business or working from home, it's just like, oh, honey, you could do this. Honey, do that. It's like, I'm working these hours. Like, these are the hours that I work. Like, it's really easy to, like, be distracted. Homies be like, hey, let's go with so and so, and like it's so easy that you want to go with them. It's like, bro, got this table, whatever. We're gonna be hanging out and go to the game, and we got things set up. It's just, come on, bro, it's gonna be fun. Like, just move all your appointments or reschedule or whatever, just cancel or no show. I'm like, no way, I don't do that. But yeah, you got whatever is planned. Like, be your word, be a professional, be on time. Like, that's some of the things that I've just learned.
Yeah.
I'm never late. It's not what I'm about, but I guess being an entrepreneur, like, that's the ultimate disrespect, is coming to someone's house or coming to a Zoom meeting, financial planning meeting, and you're late. You can never be late. You lose credibility in the first minute, and it's over. This is someone I can count on for the next 30 years of my life who shows up to a meeting late. It's like going to a date late. I don't go to any date late. I would be early to dates, always. Before my wife, I don't know if she'd be so flattered to hear this. I never go too late to a. She could attest that. None of the dates that I went with her, I was ever late. I'm always early. It's kind of like my dad. Always
Same.
be prepared, be
Yeah.
early. Traffic happens, things happen. Don't try to thread the needle, guys. Never try to thread the
Oh
needle,
my
guys.
God.
Go 30 minutes
No.
early,
No.
and it's
Yeah.
okay, dude.
People want to just like skin it at the right time. Oh, I'm gonna get out of bed just 5 minutes before I have to, and then I'm gonna spend a little extra time. It's like, no, you gotta get your out of bed, and you gotta get in the shower, and you gotta do like and leave with enough time to allow for things to go wrong, because things will go
Will go
wrong.
wrong.
That's just life. Like, when in doubt, what's that saying? Anything that can go wrong will go
Murphy's
wrong.
law.
It's
Murphy's law. Yeah.
Murphy's Law. Yes, that is a very true statement, and I've experienced that in my life. Like, planning productions, like, you find one actor for a role, and then they have tonsillitis, or their cousins in town, or they're having a baby, and it's like, you got to have a plan B, a plan C, and you got to give yourself enough time and enough grace to make things happen, so that you're not rushed, frustrated, getting upset at people. It's like, if you've planted so many seeds and you've planted ahead, and you did all those things, you'll never find yourself in a situation where you're like, well, I can't get this thing done. Well, I guess I should just not do this because so and so can't make it, or this can't happen. It's like you can never get caught in that situation. You have to have a plan in place, leave early, plan extra, have a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the whole alphabet, and be prepared for things to go wrong, people to be people. That is what it is. But at the end of the day, this is your time that you're going to dedicate to that thing. That this is the amount of time and effort you're going to give into it, and let it be that. Let it be that.
For
100%.
sure.
I mean, that's so. Yeah, I mean, now a lot of people are like, well, how do I set that boundary, or when is the right time to kind of set the boundaries? Stephen, what would you? I mean, I would say from the beginning. I mean, I think you, especially with a new relationship or a new career or anything, like day one, you gotta like figure out what those boundaries are, and kind of start working from there outwards.
Yeah, I think you have to prioritize your family and your faith because that's going to sustain you for the long run. I always talk to people and say, hey, how's your marriage? How's your walk with whatever, if you're a man of God, when I hired you? Because if you don't maintain those relationships, you being successful at your job and killing it, working 70, 80 hours, and this being your life, and neglecting your kids and your wife and your faith and whatever is important to you, your family, you're not going to be, I'm going to end up losing you because his wife is going to divorce him or get separated, and he's going to end up having to quit. And I don't want that. When I bring people on, I want them to be with me for 15, 20, 30 years or rest of their life. So I always tell them that your family is important. And people are like, wow, Jeung Agency is not the most important thing in your life, dude. No, it's not. It's your faith. It's your family. Jeung Agency is number 3 or 4, but it's going to provide for tied to your church. It's going to help you take your family, put a roof over your head, and be able to take your family on trips. So you definitely need money, and I feel really good about helping people. I'm really excited that you care about that, but you need to make sure that you schedule time. And if you're going to be at your kid's recital or baseball game, you got to show up. You got to go to that. That's more important because later in life, they're going to go, oh my God, my dad never came to anything. He would always promise me, but he never kept his word. He would always say, you can never not be your word with your kids, because when you lose trust of your kids, it's very detrimental for them. And later in life, they're going to have trust issues. No, I don't trust in men. My dad always told me he would do this for me, and I always waited and waited, and he never did it. It's you gotta be super consistent. Children are smart too. If you tell them something, they're gonna hold you to your word. They're gonna be like, "You said." They're not gonna stop.
You said.
You said you're gonna do this.
Yeah.
You said you're gonna do this. It's kind of cool. It's be your word. You say you're gonna do that. You gotta go, dude. You shouldn't have said that. That's on you. You shouldn't have told her that you're gonna go. If I say I'm gonna drive up for a recital, I have to drive up 7-8 hours to make that happen. If I say it, because she's going to expect it, my niece, who I love. And so I got to be very cautious about what I say to people. So I'm about being your word. So it's better not to say anything than say something in the moment to make them happy and then later disappoint them. That's worse. You can't do that.
Way worse.
So, all right, guys, 4 things again. 4 tips to improve your mindset. Number 1 is don't talk to yourself like that. Be positive, love yourself, words of affirmation. Number 2 is think abundantly. Don't come from scarcity mindset. Maybe cut some relationships. If that has to be, it is what it is. People with scarcity mindset are going to influence you in a really, really negative way. Number 3, attitude of gratitude. Be real grateful. Look at your life and say, hey, what am I? I know there's 3 things that you should be grateful for. Everyone should be grateful for 3 things in life. It might be harder for others, some other than others, but you can find 3 ways. And then boundaries. I think boundaries is really important too, because It's like, hey, man, this is my time with my family. I get a lot of joy. Or I go to church. I feel fulfilled. I feel re-energized. Going into for the next week, I needed this Sunday. And don't work on a Sunday. Do that. Or, I think those are the 3 things. Don't talk to yourself that way. Affirmation. Think abundantly. Attitude of gratitude. And set clear boundaries. And you know what? Just do it. Don't say, I'm going to do this and this. I think there's a way to go about it. If you explain yourself to them and if they really care about you, they're going to understand. Especially like your boss. I don't know, maybe your boss might not understand. If you work for a publicly traded company, you might get fired or something. But me, it's like, I think anyone that works with us, like, I got to, like, people check, like, can I go on a vacation? Of course you can go on a vacation with your family. You don't need to ask me. Thank you for letting me know, though. Yeah, I appreciate that. But you own your own business. You're independent. You don't work for me. You work for yourself. I'm here to help you. Mark's here to help you, here to coach you up and give you experience to be productive in this business. But at the end of the day, this is your business. And it's a great opportunity to work from home. Segue into our sponsor, JungAgency.com. If you need wealth management, retirement services, life insurance. We're doing healthcare now, Mark. I'm really excited about that. Supplemental life insurance benefits, health benefits as well. So if you're in need of that, definitely check the link below, and you can learn a little bit more about our website and about our offerings. Guys, again, thanks again for joining this podcast. My name is Stephen Jeung. This is Mark Banks. Thank you so much, and consider subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one.